Peace and Black Power. Welcome to another edition of Babatv. Every time fire. It's been about 6 weeks. The rain just wouldn't stop. Here in Harlem, it would do good during the weekend, then on the weekend it started pouring down raining. It's always my pleasure. I'll be on the phone with Red Pill all the time, but my day is not complete until he is on Babatv. My subscribers always asking for Brother Red Pill. I be asking for Brother Red Pill, and he's a busy man. Congratulations on the new CD that's out. Yes, sir. Cop that, the Twin Pillars. Cableton now being accused of rape with his hairdresser up in the, which we know that's extortion. That's totally out of character for him, and he has the text messages and so forth showing that she's trying to get money from him. He actually went to the police first before she did.
Very touchy subject, very interesting topic. Definitely something that has to be covered by not just the pillar, peace y'all, not just me personally, but we need some of our sisters to come forward and inform the family and give us some insight. Meaning that we need some goddamn answers, because there's a lot of things going on in the news, you know, from a perspective where if we don't get answers, or if we're not clear as to what is the purpose or what's the context of why certain things are occurring, we're just going to get programmed. And the media is doing a great job of programming the minds of the impressionable, right? Keep in mind, we were talking about Harvey Weinstein and the Hollywood sex scandal. How long ago, Baba?
Back in the winter.
I think it was the beginning of the winter. Only recently was Harvey Weinstein actually charged with a crime, and that was after Bill Cosby got convicted, and the online and the people and the people in the audience was screaming for more blood. So they had to give up Harvey Weinstein. They had to put his head on a stake, but theoretically he only got arrested. Like, it's not like he got convicted of anything. They only locked him up to make it look good so people could calm down. But out of the whole Harvey Weinstein psyop is this Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, right? And it's a tsunami, and it's beginning to wash up both a lot of innocent and guilty people. Why do I say that? Because I think that a lot of the people who are being accused of sexual misconduct, the actual accusation is questionable. And I'm saying that it's questionable because of what I'm reading in the news reports as to what these people did, why they did it, and when they did it. Do you know Jamie Foxx just got accused of smacking a woman with his penis 16 years ago? Now, I wasn't in the room. I don't know if he was responsible for dick smacking somebody or, you know, utilizing his phallus as a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know. But what I do know is that we have to be very careful out here, because anybody could come forward and accuse you of sexual misconduct from something that you did 20 years ago. If these people are trying to blackmail you, if these are disgruntled former employees, if this is a scorned lover, there's so many reasons for people to go ahead and begin to do what? Tarnish and besmirch people's character, because an accusation at some point is all it takes for you to lose endorsement, for you to lose millions of dollars, for people to begin to look at you like you're some kind of creep and whatnot. And that's not to say that certain individuals are not creeps. I'm not out here caping. All I'm saying is there's a precedent that has been set. This precedent that has been set could be weaponized, and when you weaponize this precedent, you could destroy people's lives when they haven't even done anything. As we see nowadays, we have so many brothers and sisters coming home from the DNA test to prove that they were innocent. We have reports of the police with the breathalyzers. They went ahead and came out and said that due to police being themselves drunk, and they breathed into the breathalyzers, they were about 50,000 to 100,000 cases that they had to reanalyze because the police are corrupt. You understand what I'm saying? The police are corrupt. So now we live in a society where there's no protection for the men that are out there, that are in the industry, that are misrepresenting, themselves in ways where they've been very, they're committing acts of misconduct. But I would say that you would have to look at the overall behavior of the industry. You have to put into context the time period that you're talking about. Because if somebody comes out and says, yo, me and Red Pill, he was having orgies in the 70s, I would have to say context. You know what I mean? Because back in those days, there was something called a counter-revolution or counterculture where orgies were being encouraged, where everybody was doing it. So it was consensual. Now, later on, the hippies are inside of government, or the hippies are your Democrats or your Republicans, or these reformed hippies who basically cut their hair, shaved their long beards off, took a shower, and became this quote-unquote white power structure. That's the people of the counterculture from back in the days who were doing all of the pills, the Quaaludes, the acid, coke and whatnot, wilding out. But now they're quote unquote into politics, respectability politics and all of that. And they're throwing rocks and hiding their hands because they're acting like they weren't playing a part of the debauchery that was taking place 40, 50 years ago. You dig what I'm saying? So the precedent that's being set is very dangerous, because now you could just accuse somebody and do what? Ruin their reputation. Because the half of the people that were accused of the Me Too, they didn't go to trial. It's a witch hunt. Anybody that ever saw the show Game of Thrones, there was a character in Game of Thrones, I think it was the Sparrow. There was a character, and they showed you how this thing comes about. It was a depiction of how the Inquisition came about. Okay, the Inquisition was about heresy, or he say, she say. So they had this humongous campaign during the Inquisition where somebody who was your neighbor would go to the Inquisitor and say, yo, I heard them making salat last night, because back in those times that was illegal, that was outlawed. And if they found out that you were practicing Judaism, or if they found out you was practicing Islam, they were burning you at the stake, torturing you, taking your property. Your whole reputation was besmirched, like we see going on these days, where all you have to be is accused of something. You don't even have to get taken to trial. Your whole reputation, your legacy is wiped clean. Russell Simmons' legacy is destroyed. Russell Simmons came out in books and was like, yo, I was a ravishing cokehead and I was a bisexual. So we know the behaviors of cokeheads and people that are on these mind-altering drugs. Their sexual behavior is deviant. So to judge somebody 80 years later on their sexual deviancy, or 40 years later on their sexual deviancy, I'm not saying that that's not righteous. I'm not saying that you should not, because remember, we have to put into account the people who are being molested. We have to put into account the psychological effects of people who have been sexually molested, taken advantage of, and things of that nature. People can't let that shit go. So where do they get justice from? So it's a catch-22. It's a very touchy subject. It's almost a tightrope, because we don't know what's true and what's not. You dig what I'm saying? We don't know what's true and what's not. But all I'm saying is, brothers and sisters of today, we have to develop new ways of protecting ourselves. We have to you almost have to give a letter of consent before you get into any kind of intercourse. You know what I'm saying? You got to get a video. You got to take your camera out and be like, yo, can you consent on film that this shit is okay? Because I don't want it to come back and haunt me 30 years from now when I become a multi-millionaire off of this artwork, and then you try to blackmail me because you gave me sloppy toppy on the way back in the Uber. Because we were both inebriated or defocalized. We were on drugs. We were on liquor and things of that nature. And, we were just having fun, because we live in a new era where casual sex is the order of the day. Tinder, swipe left. All of these women and all of these brothers and whatnot, they're not even dating anymore. They just meeting up to smash. Like Nicki Minaj said on she did an interview with the publication, a white publication. I believe it was Elle magazine. She made a statement about the promiscuity of the quote-unquote Instagram thoughts, or the Instagram models of nowadays, where the culture of prostitution has been legalized. What do you mean by that, brother? I mean that the culture of prostitution is the way to go now. Even if the sisters are not selling themselves, they're walking around looking like they for sale. So Nicki Minaj came out and said, damn, I didn't know that my music was encouraging women to be prostitutes. Well, on that statement, she's a fucking liar, because she's one of the reasons why women are surgically enhancing their bodies. Why are you surgically, what are you doing, what are you getting a big butt and tits and running around showing the world it for, if not to encourage promiscuity? You just want to get likes? You just want to entice other people of the opposite and the same sex? I'm not saying that you can't do that, but what I'm saying is she took responsibility for it. She said, I'm partially responsible for that. But what she's doing is this. You're dealing with a Nicki Minaj of today who got ethered by Remy Martin when she called her out for all of the bullshit that she was promoting. And this is a post-Cardi B reality, where corporate America or Madison Avenue has embraced slut culture, right? They've embraced whole culture, and Cardi B is the goddamn, she's a Cinderella of that shit. So Nicki Minaj is trying to distance herself from that. She's looking at it, she's looking down on it like, yeah, that's that lower level stuff. I'm at a higher place, so I'm talking down against prostitution. I'm talking down against the Instagram thoughts, because that's, you know what I mean? That's now her competition. When she was endorsing it before, there wasn't no competition. There wasn't no Instagram thought models on the billboards like that. So, you know, you got to look at it with a grain of salt. But we find ourselves in a day and time where our women down south, up north, Midwest, Caribbean, UK, Africa, China, everywhere you go, our women look like they for sale. They're following what is known as the ratchet culture. The ratchet culture is Ratchet Mondays, the Housewives of Atlanta. The beginning of the quote-unquote merging of the ratchet culture with the pornography culture was when you had Flavor of Love. Remember when they had New York and all of those ratchet bottom feeder women who were they were looking the same way, wearing the same makeup, the same twisted and crooked weaves, the same revealing clothes that the porn site, that the porn women. And then you had the stripper culture seeping into hip hop, seeping into, that was the rise of the BMF era in 03, 02 in Atlanta, and it spilled over into everywhere. So now you go on a date, nigga, you going to the strip club to throw singles and whatnot. Your date wants to see what your pockets look like and how you make it rain on prostitutes. And what's going on in a strip club? You want to play innocent? You want to play naive? Nigga, they selling box. That's what they're doing. Now they took it on Instagram where they don't even need to strip. All they got to do is show some body and say swipe up, and now you could buy them on Instagram. You know the code word? I'm going to be in town. You want to meet up? Or hit me up for a dinner, or hit me up if you want to hang out. Nigga, that's code word for this shit is for sale. So, goddesses, the same womb that's giving birth to the future. You know what I'm saying? A nation can rise no higher than a woman. So these women, right, are having sexually or spiritually transmitted demons, because what are they doing? They're succumbing, they're lowering their standards, and they letting anybody hit. What do you mean by anybody? I said anybody. White, black, Arab, Asian, homeless, you know what I'm saying? As long as you could pay, you can hit. That's a no-no. Go and read the book or go and watch the movie. We're at war. So you mean to tell me that you're gonna endorse a whole culture of women that are prostitutes when we at war? Do you know that you can't go to war, or you can't have a prostitute culture at times of war? Go and watch the movie, what's that movie, Franz Ferdinand, The Battle of Algiers. Do you know who the first ones that took headshots? When the battle started or the revolution in Algiers started, the pimps and the prostitutes. Why? Because they can't be trusted, because there's a price tag on everything when it comes to them. They are the traitors. They're the treasonous ones. They play both sides of the fence. So you mean to tell me in a day and time where we've identified that there's an economic war, spiritual war, physical war, soft war, chemical war, biological war, a war for the hearts and the minds of our people, you niggas is promoting prostitution? Well, goddamn it, you're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? You're dying slow. You're gonna get punished. It's all kind of karma that comes with that. Because like I said, a nation can rise no higher than the women, and it's the men that promoted that. It's the men that push these women into that. It's the men that are the ones buying the box. And the lesbians and the AGs and whatnot. I heard they get a discount, but the men did that. The niggas in hip, the lame, the point, you know what I mean, the beta males who couldn't necessarily get a woman. So when it went from being taboo to when it became the order of the day that you can buy the pussy, they were the ones who helped push that. Now the women have taken that and they've run with it. So now you got talented and gifted women who turned their box into an ATM. No, all of their orifice. The anal, the mouth, you could put it in their earlobe if you could lubricate it. They doing everything. They letting you defecate on them. They doing. So now, when I look at my sisters, I see demons in them. You know what I'm talking about? I see demons in them. They got all kind of demons and parasites in them because of the way that they've devalued themselves. Because you cannot lay down with dogs and not get fleas. So the white man has gotten bolder over the years. Do you know why? Because the booty of war is your woman. They got access to something that used to be sacred. So they don't give a fuck about you anymore. They're not scared of you. They're not even, you know what I mean? When you go on the porn sites, all of the black women is getting drilled by the white boys. They don't care. You got to understand the mental implications behind that. You don't know what war is. You don't know how the Jews how they launch war on you through the pornography industry. You don't understand. You're not knowledgeable about that. You don't understand sexual energy. You don't know when you pervert sexual energy, how it creates the hell that you niggas live in. You don't know sexual energy and what it deals with anal sex. You don't know about tapping into certain kind of malefic, demonic energies through the anal cavity versus what you get when you go inside of the yoni. Like Dr. Ben said, heaven on earth. Heaven was in between the legs of who? Woman. All right, but is it between the ass? All right, they call that, you had priests. You had priesthoods, right? In Mesopotamia, you had priesthoods, Indo-European, Aryan priesthoods. When they would conquer our people, what would they do? You had Romans, Alexander the Freak. That is an art of war. The art of war, act of war, is to sexually dominate your victims or sexually dominate your prisoners. Word of advice, don't ever get taken prisoner in war. You better practice kamikaze, because when they take you prisoner, they're gonna rape you, men and women. You know what I'm talking about? Like they did on the sex farms. They're gonna break you, because that's a tactic of war. So anytime you see a white man walking around with a black man and they're homosexual, that's slavery right there. He broke him. He dominated him. That's domination. Okay, that's an act. That's an art of war. That's an act of war. They will dominate you by anally raping you, and that's what they're doing to our women. They made that the order of the day. So you niggas need to get your fucking life together, and you need to get up out of the sunken place, and you need to get up out of your lower self and begin to stop practicing sexual deviancy and passing that off as sexual liberation. And for the sisters in corporate America and in other places where people of other races are, put some fucking clothes on. You're looking crazy. I don't see the Asians doing that. I don't see the Indians doing that. I don't see the fucking Europeans doing that, because they were the ones who started doing that. They don't do that anymore. Our women are looking like whores. Not harlots, whores. So how you expect any nation to respect you when your women are looking like fucking tramps? How? How could you win the war? There's a culture war taking place. There's a war. So what they're doing is, by devaluing us, they're preparing to kill us. They're preparing, because if your women are walking around looking crazy, wearing lingerie to work, look at corporate America. You're not looking for a raise. You're looking for a sale. I went into an office the other day. You got black women at the reception desk with no bra on, with a see-through shirt on, working for Jews. Like what? So when the white man sees that, he loses respect for the man, and then he loses respect for the woman. You think he respects you, sisters? You think they're not preparing to do you dirty when they really decide to purge you, niggas? Come on, man. We gotta get our shit together. A nation can rise no higher as the women. A nation can rise no higher than the women. Look at these. So what are the children supposed to say when your mama's a thought? How does the children supposed to grow up when the respectability went out the window? So black man, I know that you in your lower self, I know that you are captivated by the curvaceousness, the voluptuousness, and the beauty of our women, because I am. You know what I'm saying? I love our women. I love their shapes. I love their bodies. I follow a whole bunch of thoughts on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I'm a thought magnet. They be all in my DM. But guess what? Self-mastery is the order of the day. You understand what I'm saying? Discipline. You have to, that's why the Masons in them got the apron. You got to discipline. You have to work on your upper chakras, not your lowers. We are suffering as a result of that. Facts. It's bringing about all kind of, because people are sexually perverted right now because they have to suppress their sexual desires. Because if you're watching porn all day, or if you're lusting over women all day, and you can't necessarily, you don't got the kind of game to get a woman, or you don't know how to respectively speak to a woman, you're gonna go on Tinder, you're going on Backspace, you ordering the shit, you're buying it. You don't respect women after that. People are being dehumanized, they're being devalued, all kind of maladies are taking place, and until we sit at the table and try to figure this out, well, goddamn it. And why did it take Nicki Minaj to say something, and the only person that I can identify in our community to saying something on the woman's side is Zaza Ali and Dr. Ma'at, and maybe a few others. But other than that, I don't hear no roaring lion voices. I don't see nobody on the front lines. I don't see no sisters banging on other sisters for the shit that they doing. I am Prosecmet. Salute to her. But it's so rare. It took Nicki Minaj to say something about prostitutes. This shit is sickening. The queen. Shahrazad Ali, Frances Cress Wilson. These are elders. Where are their students? They supposed to have multiplied. Why are there so many people waving the flag of woke and consciousness, but you won't speak up about that culture? You won't speak up about the fact that your stocks have fallen. You won't speak up about the fact that there's legalized prostitution all around you. Are you co-signing it? Are you turning a blind eye to it? Is it the Kali Yuga so you don't give a fuck? I need answers. We got to talk about these things because we're continuing to fall. You know, they remade Superfly for a reason, my nigga. We're back in that era. So when you look at the 60s and the 70s, when they had our women all up and down 40 deuce for sale, dope fiends for sale, then crackheads became crackheads for sale. Now their children are for sale. Now their children are for sale. And they not even on crack, family. They on coke and pills. Some of them is on heroin. The shit is disgusting. So if you want to, and there's 100,000 women missing right now. They're killing babies in Chicago as I speak. They're finding young women with their organs missing. And these niggas is chasing Tekashi 6ix9ine, but nobody is chasing the white boys that's running around kidnapping and killing out. Go on the dark web if you think I'm playing. Go on the deep web. They killing people on the deep web every day. Facts. You could pay in Bitcoin and go into the room and they torturing black women that they got out the strip club, that they got off of Backspace, that they got out of Tinder, killing them, bodying them, hanging them, chopping them up. Nobody's talking about this. All of this child porn, sex trafficking, human trafficking, they separating parents at the borders, and there's 1,500 children missing from Mexico. What do you think they doing with them? So if y'all don't want to be a part of Babylon and fall with it, get your shit together.